Hi guys, today's tutorial is all about video editing, the program that I use to do that and the features that's available for editing your videos. Now generally when you're editing videos, or in our instance, it's going to be one of two scenarios. Probably it's a webinar that you recorded and you maybe just want to cut off the beginning and the end because you recorded a bit of extra to start with and to end with, and maybe you want to add a title, and maybe you want to split it into smaller videos. The other scenario is where you're recording your own training video like I'm doing at the moment, where you're showing people how to do various things, and afterwards you want to go edit the video to cut out little bits where you stumbled over your words or things that you repeated or left out. You want to change the sequence, and again maybe make the video shorter, add a title, etc. So we're going to be looking at both of those. And the software that I use now, just like with screen capturing software, there's a very large number of video editing software programs available, and the features that they have overlap, but some are much more advanced than others, and most of them you have to purchase, and the prices can be very steep, from a couple of $100 to even over $1,000. But then I stumbled across a program called Windows Movie Maker, which is free to use. Now this program is no longer available or supported, but you can still find it on internet to download it, and I find it very easy to use, and it's got all the features that I need for my purposes for editing videos. This program was part of the Windows Essentials package that came out in 2012. So the program that you're actually looking for is called Windows Movie Maker 2012, and when you install it, depending on which website you download it from, you might find that it will install only this one program, or it will be the complete Windows Essentials installation. Now if it's the Windows Essential installation, then make sure that you go and deselect all the other components so that the only program that it installs is Windows Movie Maker, because all the other programs you will most likely not want to install, and some of them you definitely do not want on your computer. So just make sure when the installation program is running, if there's options, normally there'll be an advanced tab or something where you can go and select which components you want. Make sure that you only install Windows Movie Maker. Now one of the websites that I found where you can download it is on videohelp.com, and I'll show you the link again now as well, but you can see it at the top. This is a screen that you get. There's some screen captures of the software, and this is the area where you download the program. So you just click on there, it'll download a file. In this case it will be the full Windows Essentials package. You just double click that file, follow the on-screen instructions, make sure you only install Windows Movie Maker. Go back to my previous screen. This is the URL as well, but if you Google Windows Movie Maker 2012, then you'll probably find several sites where you can actually download it. This one is videohelp.com/software/Windows Movie Maker, with a dash between the words Windows and Movie and Maker. Once you've installed the program on your desktop, this is what the icon will look like. And once you open the program, this is what your screen will look like. Now there's actually a lot of features in here that I've never even touched on or used. I'm only going to talk about the parts that I use and which I think you might need as well. So the first step is obviously that you need to upload the video that you're going to be editing. Now this might just be one video that you recorded, or you could have done it in batches and you've got a number of videos. It doesn't matter, you can add as many videos as needed. In this case I've only got one that I recorded yesterday, where I was doing a recording video about how to upload your videos onto YouTube, which will be the next one that you'll be viewing after this. So that's just one that I'm going to be working on. So you just click on add videos, go to your correct folder if it's not already there. This is the folder I want, and that is the file that I want to add. So just double click on it and it's going to add it onto your desktop. Now you'll see in the bottom left it says Windows Movie Maker is preparing your files, and there's a little progress bar. If you added more than one file, it'll process them one by one. It'll say 1 of 3, 2 of 3, 3 of 3. What it's doing is just processing the content and the sound of the video, and you need to wait for this to complete before you can start with any editing. Depending on how long your video is, this can take quite some time. My video is only, I can't remember, about 20 minutes, not even 15 minutes. So it's not going to take too long, but I'm going to edit out this waiting period. So while I'm sitting here waiting, you're not going to see all of this, and I'll be back when it's finished processing. Okay, you can see it's now finished. It's just loading the audio data, which normally doesn't take very long. And we're ready. So just to quickly run through some basics, in this top left hand corner is where you can view the actual video. You can play it, you can see what's happening. Here it shows you the duration of the video. It's 14 minutes, well, just under 15 minutes. And if I click on different parts of the video, the screen will change to the contents at that stage, and the time will also change to show you where you are in the video. So at any stage you can just press play, click, and from wherever you tap your cursor, the video will start playing from that point on. You can also click these buttons to move to the next frame if you want to adjust just ever so slightly, because when you click here, you'll see it'll only allow you to click in certain places. So for example, that's on 1 minute 19 seconds, and the next place where you can click is 1 minute 20 seconds. So that's a second apart, each of these blocks. But sometimes you want to be more precise, where you want to cut something out or insert something, and then you can use these buttons to move forward by a fraction of a second to get to the exact point that you want to be. You can also make this full screen if you want. I don't generally do that, but just click on the full screen option
college account
and press escape to go back to this screen. Then on the right hand side, as I said, it shows you your full video. There's a scroll bar where you can scroll down, see all of it. There's also a bar at the bottom where you can zoom in and out. So if I drag this to the left, it'll, for example, if you want to fit everything on one screen, go up to there, say for example, and then everything fits on one screen. Generally, I leave it maximum zoomed in because it makes it easier for you to navigate. Looking at the frames themselves, you'll see at the bottom, I'm not sure how clear it is, but you can see that there are, it looks like little waves. And that's actually the audio of the video. So whenever there's no audio, it'll just be blank. If I scroll down, for example, over here, you can see there's periods where there's no sound. That's where I maybe made a mistake. So I just kept quiet for a short while and I restarted my topic or my point. And the plan is to just edit out those blank bits at the end. So this just helps you sometimes to see where you might want to delete something from the video. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to show you is if you want to chop off something at the beginning or the end of the video. So I'm going to just press play here. I'm going to turn my sound down because it's going to interfere. If I press play, the video is going to start. It will show me on the left hand side what's happening in the video, where the cursor is now. See, this is where I started speaking, so there's audio. So say for example I want to cut off that little area, I want to remove it from the video. So you just click on exactly where you want to make the cut, make sure the line is in the correct place. As I mentioned earlier, you can use the next frame and the previous frame button to make a more precise cut. You click on edit at the top and you click on the split tool, which will split the video at the point that you've placed your cursor. And you can see that there's now a split. And all you need to do now is you click on this section that you don't want and you press the delete key and it will remove it. At the same time, your video duration has obviously gotten a bit shorter. Now what I suggest, any change that you make that you're happy with, is immediately save your work, because editing can be quite a tiring process and a long process, and you don't want to lose work that you've done. So you just go File, Save Project. The first time it will ask you for a name. I'm just going to call it My Movie 3 because I already have a couple of other movies. Click on Save. This will now also save that audio and video processing that happened in the beginning. So if I have to maybe leave my desktop now and I'm going to come back tomorrow and continue editing, I just open the software and I go File, Open Project. I select the one that I wanted, which is My Movie 3, and it'll be exactly where I left off the last time. So normally after everything that I change, I just then go File, Save Project, and it'll save all the work that you've done. In the same way, if I want to chop something off at the end, I might have let the recording carry on for a minute or two after the webinar ended, or for whatever other reason. You just go down to the point where you want to cut it off. I'm just going to choose any random spot, get the sound to stop, play, and I'm going to say, for example, that's where I want to stop the video. I don't want this portion at the back. Again, I just click on split. It'll split off that section. Tap on it, press the delete key. Now our video is only 14 minutes and 7 seconds long, and I'll just go and save the project. In exactly the same way, if you want to remove a piece in the middle of a video, say I just want to remove those couple of frames there where there's no audio. So I'm, for example, going to click there, split the video, click there again, split it again. So now I've actually got 3 videos. I don't want that middle one. I'm going to click on it, press the delete key, and it's gone. And again, saving my project. And so you can carry on and remove all the bits that you do not want in your video. And you can also move things around. Say, for example, I did my whole recording and I got to the end and I realized, oh, there's something that I forgot to mention at a specific point in the video, and it will make more sense to do it there than after I finished my entire video. So I recorded it all and now I want to move it to a different place. So I'm going to, for example, just click here and split my video. Now what I want to do is I want to move this section to there, for example. So I'll do a split there as well. And all I need to do now is to drag this section from here to there. So just click on it and with your mouse move it up to that point, and it's now taken it out here, inserted it there, and again I'll save my project. And this way you'll carry on deleting things, moving things around. Generally with a webinar there's not much editing that you want to do. You probably just want to chop off the start and the end, and maybe if there's something that you feel in the content section that wasn't of interest or value, you want to remove it. But when you're recording a training video, there's quite often areas where you maybe made a mistake and you want to cut it out, or you want to change the sequence of things, or you might have a couple of different videos that you recorded and you want to edit them all into one. So you want to insert the correct ones in the right place. All of that, that's how you do it. Then to smarten things up at the end, I maybe want to add a title. So I'll click on the very first frame of the video. If I go back to home, you'll see there's an option that says title. It will now add a title to the video. Text in this area, I can go and edit it to whatever I want it to be. I'm gonna just call it uploading to YouTube. You can move it around by dragging your cursor until that little 4 arrow thing appear, and you can move it up and down. You can change the font and the size just like normal. So now if I play my video, it's going to start with the title, and as soon as it's gone over that black bar section, the actual video will start. Okay, now that we can now make it even more fancy by adding a little transition. So I'll go and click there where the actual video starts. I'll go to animations, and here's transitions that you can choose. So if you hover the cursor over them, you'll see what the effect will be. And you can choose whichever one you want. Say I decide on that one, I'll just click on it. And now if I go back and I play my video, you'll see after the text has come up, it'll use that transition. Okay, now that we have our final, and these transitions you can add in any spot on your video, but you do need to make a split. So I can add one there, for example, but I can't add one there unless I first split the video. So I will again save my project. Now there's many other things that you can add, and this you can play around with. There's visual effects that you can add to your video. You can also record your own narration afterwards and add it to a video. I've never really used any of these things, but you're welcome to play around with it and see what might be of interest to you and what you might find useful. So we now have our final video, and the last thing that I need to do is now to generate a new output video from all this editing that's been done. Now we want to try and keep the file size quite small. If I jump back to my folder where my original video was stored, let me just quickly go there and we look at the video, you'll see that it was 39.2 megabytes. Okay, now I've obviously now removed a couple of things, chopped and changed, but now I want to save it. But we want to save it in the smallest possible file size, because a lot of people might be viewing this on their cell phones or while they're connected to mobile data. You want things to load as quickly as possible and the files to be as small as possible. And also we need to upload this file onto YouTube before we can use it in the college. So we also want to take up as less space as possible on YouTube. And with a lot of experimenting, I found that the smallest way to save the file and still have quite good quality is to save it in Facebook format. Basically, that just means it's suitable to be posted on Facebook. So the final step, when you're on home in the software, you'll see on the top right it says Save Movie. Just click there. And it's got a whole lot of options here for you to choose from. And the one that I want to use is Facebook. I've already used it in the past, so it will come up at the top here under recent settings. Every time I can just click on that. I just select the Facebook format. You can give it a name. I'm going to just leave it as is. It's going to save it in MP4 format. This you can change in the settings, but I've not changed that ever. And you click on save. And now it's actually writing this entire movie onto a new MP4 file on your computer. And that will be the end product that you'll be uploading onto YouTube. So your original file will not be touched. You can either delete it, or if you need to keep it for some reason, it's creating a whole new file, and it will obviously, as you can see, show you the progress on here. Again, this process can take quite long if you've got a long video. Mine is now only 14 minutes, so you can see how the percentages are climbing. But if you've got a video of an hour or 2 hours, this can run for quite some time, and it will also use quite a lot of processor speed. So I would suggest you don't do anything else on the computer while this is happening, because the response might not be too great. I will be back after this process is completed. And we are back. We are 99% complete, and there it's just finished. It'll give you an option now to open the folder where the video was created, or you can play it, or you can just close it. So if I go back to the folders, this was my original movie, and then you can set up your folders in settings again. If I go to edit it, that's the new movie that I created, and that's the one that you'll be uploading onto YouTube. Sometimes you might find that the file size actually got bigger than the original file, especially with a small file, but don't worry about that. The Facebook option is still going to create the smallest possible file that the software will allow you to do. You can also try the YouTube option, play around with it a bit if you want. I've just decided to always use the Facebook option. So there's one last thing that I still want to show you though. This will be especially useful if you recorded a webinar, for example, and you plan on creating a course on the college for it, but the webinar was an hour long and you want to split the video into, say, 3 videos of 20 minutes each, because you don't want someone to sit through an hour video in one session. So you probably want him to watch 20 minutes, then answer some questions on it, next 20 minutes questions, and the same for the last 20 minutes. So in this instance we only have a 15-minute video, so it's not going to make all that much sense to split it up, but I'm just going to explain to you how to do it. Firstly, you need to find the point where you want to split the video. You have to make sure that obviously it's not mid-sentence or mid-discussion of a specific topic. You want to find something that's a natural break point, so you don't have to split them exactly 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. One can be 4 minutes, 10 seconds, one can be 5 minutes, 40 seconds. You need to go and look for an ideal place to split the movie. So where there's a change in topic or a change in slide on the screen, or natural pause, whatever the case might be. So for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to choose a random point and say, for example, that's where I want to make my first cut of the video. So I want everything from the beginning up to there. This is only 1 minute and 4 seconds, but this is just to demonstrate how to do it. Just like earlier, you're going to go to the edit option and split the video at the point where you want the break, which is there. And now this is just a handy tip that you might want to use as well. It just saves some time, or I found that it saves time. Once I've made the split, I go and save my project again, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to delete everything after this, and then I'm going to create a video that contains only that portion. But now once that's done, I want to get back to this point where I am now, so I'm going to load the saved project again, and I'm going to delete this section that I've now already generated. So just to show you in practice, my first video is going to end there. So what I'm doing is I'm going to delete, I've already saved my project, I'm going to delete everything after that point, so I'm only left with what I want to be in my first video. And just like previously, I'm going to go save movie and choose my Facebook option, and now I'm going to call it, say, my movie 3 part 1, and I'm going to save it. This will now go very quick because it's only 1 minute, so we'll just wait for it to finish. So I don't want to abort this. And it's done. If I now go to my folder, you'll see there's part 1 of my movie, which is only going to be 1 minute long. Now let's just close that. I want to go back to where I was before I deleted everything, because I still need to generate all the rest into different sections. So don't save the project at this point. Just go and open the previously saved version again. I'm going to go open project. It's going to ask me if I want to save changes. Very important to say no. Load my movie again. And this is what the situation was just before I deleted everything. So now what I want to do is this part that's already been created as part 1 of the movie I want to delete. So this is where I made my cut. So I want to delete that video, and I also want to delete that little bit, and that's where I want to start. You can also go and change the title now just by clicking on edit text, and the next video I wanted to say uploading to YouTube part 2. And again, you can add a transition if you want. I'm going to add that one. So that's look like. And now exactly the same process. You go and select the point where you want the second video to end, and I'm just going to choose a point over there. I'm going to go back to home, to edit, split it. Now once again, just like before, I'm going to save the project at this stage before I delete anything. Then I'm going to delete everything after that point. So I'm only left with the second section. Once again, save this new movie. Now I'm going to call it part 2 and save it. And so you'll carry on until you've split up the entire video into however many sections you want of whatever many duration. So after each section, you will reload the last version of the project that you saved, delete the bit that you've just generated, do the new split, save the project, delete everything that you don't want, and generate your movie. And that will be a continuous process until everything's done. And in the end, you're going to end up with however many videos you created, be it just one or several short ones. The next step would be to upload all these videos onto the ETD College YouTube site, which will be the next education video. And then from there, you're going to link them to the course that we're going to be creating as the final step. Once again, please let me know if there's any questions or uncertainty, or if you need help with anything. I'm just a phone call or an email away. Thank you.